Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday the 29th of January 2022. And Gary Rowetts did it. He managed to avoid breaking the record of the worst start to a new year since 1948. We won. We won the last game of this month. And that's one win for the month. So there you go. And here we are. Millwall 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Millwall ended their run of three straight league defeats with a Mason Bennett-inspired 2-0 victory over West Bromwich Albion. Bennett scored the first before Benakofobi added a second to give Millwall their first win since the December 29 success at Coventry City. It was a very nervy start from the home side, and they would have been behind inside the first 5 minutes had it not been for a stunning save by Bartosz Białkowski. The keeper made a fine stop to keep out debut striker Andy Carroll's volley. Scott Malone had Mill's first attempt, firing over from Danny McNamara's cross. McNamara was then involved again on 26 minutes. His cross, however, was just inches too far for Voby to make contact with. The Lions started the second half more on the front foot. Oliver Burke, facing his former club, forced a save from David Button as Mill chased the opener. Bennett was played through by Mikael Keftenbeld, but as he spore down on goal, Cedric Kipre did enough to put him off, and he sent his shot well over the bar. On the hour mark, Millwall once again thanking Białkowski a minute after coming on. Callum Robinson benefited from a mix-up between McNamara and Sean Hutchinson, but the pole prevented the Irish international from making an instant impact. In the 67th minute, the Lions got the goal their second half display warranted. Malone's free kick into the box led to a ball pinging around inside the area before Bennett turned it in. The hosts doubled their lead 10 minutes later. Phobie, after doing brilliantly to beat his man, fired past Button into the bottom corner and sealed a much needed 3 points for Gary Rowetts' men. Takeaways: Lions stopped the rot. It was safe to say that the start to 2022 had not been good by any means. Coming into this, the Lions had lost every game since the turn of the year in all competitions, and the signs were ominous early on the way West Brom were keeping the ball and threatening. But over the course of the game, other than the early effort from Carroll and the transfer of Robinson, there was little for Białkowski to do in the Millwall goal. Much had been made of the attacking play, and again that was an issue. The Lions do need someone in what remains of the window to help those attackers, but Bennett and Afobe did a good job for most part of this afternoon. Jed Wallace is still a Lion late on in the transfer window. Millwall supporters will be keeping their fingers tightly crossed over the next 3 days. Bennett rounds off good display with a goal. Bennett has not had a smooth Lions career to date. So far, his time at Millwall has been hampered with injury. Performances have been inconsistent, but this was one of his finest efforts in a Lions shirt. Bennett's fight and drive to make something happen was much appreciated by the home faithful. He showed in the second half of last season he can be a regular goal threat, and he got a crucial opener here. He had the beating of Kipra all afternoon, with the West Brom defender having a nightmare for the full duration of the match. More displays like this from the forward Derby County man is what Mill fans are desperate to see. Consistency is the key to success. We have seen it with Tom Bradshaw this season, that if given the chance he can take it. Why should it be any different for Bennett? Because he hasn't been consistent. That is literally his trademark, is inconsistency, and we'll get onto that later. Cancer has no colours. Some things transcend football rivalries. That was shown in the 7th minute as everyone in the stadium joined together in a minute's applause for young West Ham fan Isla Caton, who sadly lost her battle with neuroblastoma cancer this week at the age of just 7. It's moments like this when football comes together to unite. A superb gesture once again from both sets of fans. Team news: Rowett made one change to decide the loss to Blackpool. Burke came in for his full debut in place of George Evans. And the team was Białkowski, McNamara, Hutchinson, Mario Wallace, Cooper, Malone, Mitchell, Kifton-Beld, Burke, Afobe and Bennett. And Tyler Burry came on for Burke and Evans came on for Afobe. And the substitutes were Long, Pearce, Thompson, Mahoney and Lovelace. So Lovelace there on the bench. So, what does that mean for Lovelace? He hasn't signed a contract yet, which he can do from his 16th birthday, which was on last Sunday. But he hasn't left yet, so maybe he's waiting for the summer. He doesn't want to change anything in the middle of the season. He's obviously I think he's in his last year of school, so he's probably still got school exams in the summer. I would imagine that as well, and he's not too keen on changing that, so probably just waiting for the summer and then gonna decide then. And that's his right. He can do that. Good for him. But there you go. Now a lot of Mill fans obviously happy about this. It's always good to win, but West Brom were very, very poor. They were very, very poor. By the time you're watching this, the manager's probably already been sacked. They're on an awful run. They only beat Peterborough, barely just. They got smashed by Preston in their last game, who we now play next. If we go up and see here, so we now play Preston. Or 13th in the table. We are 15th in the table with 36 points. We play Preston on Tuesday, 7:45 kickoff, and that's going to be a different kettle of fish. Preston, they're a good team playing well at the minute. West Brom are not. They are struggling big time. Even though they're above us in the league, something's gone wrong there. The fans are not happy, and you saw that today. Went to the game. If you didn't, I'll tell you now what happened. So flares thrown and reports of seats ripped out in West Brom end during Millwall defeat. And this is from the expressandStar.com. I think that's a paper from the Midlands. I thought it was called the Wolverhampton Express and Star. I'm not too sure. Flares were thrown onto the pitch and seats were reportedly ripped out by a section of West Brom fans as emotion spilled out over during a 2-0 defeat at the Den. And there you can see there's a picture there. A member of staff deals with a flare thrown onto the pitch as another runs to fetch a seat that was also thrown during a Sky Bet Championship match at the Den. Play was stopped on 3 occasions when flares were thrown from the away end following chants aimed towards under pressure boss Valerian Ismail. They are not happy with their manager because they are not playing well. We beat a shit team. It's good to win, but we beat a shit team. So much so that the fans are physically revolting, trying to create an insurrection. And this is going around on the social medias. If you can't tolerate your side losing, you're not a football fan, don't go to games, just stop it. Jeff Stelling reacts after Mill versus West Brom was stopped for a second time. I don't see any. Will we see an article on the BBC? Probably not. Yeah. And then Baggies fans reported on social media that seats were also ripped out in the away end as they watched their side slump to a second successive 2-0 defeat. So they lost 2-0 to Preston. Gates were kept closed around the away end and a heavy police presence guarded both sides of the away stand following full time. Earlier in the season during the reverse fixture, trouble broke out outside the ground and near to the Millwall away end at the Hawthorns. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that video. I only just remember that. There was like a blue gate and it was rocking. And then it was like a metal gate. Not see. It was solid. You could see through in parts. There were little gaps. And I think this was at half time when the fans went out for a cigarette. I'm not sure. It might have been before the game. But yeah, so the Millwall fans were having a go at the fence, trying to get through, and then West Brom fans responded in kind, and they did end up knocking a section of the fence down, and one Millwall fan broke through, thinking, okay, this is the cavalry charge, and no one else followed, and he ended up getting knocked out. That's a viral video that was on Twitter that a lot of other fans creamed their knickers out over. But they it made me laugh because at the time a lot of people, oh, look at these Millwall thugs, look at them, they attacked the West Brom fans and knocked him out. It's like, and people who were actually there knew what was happening. So no, actually guys, that's a Millwall fan who got knocked out there. So, and credit to the West Brom fans, they all crowded around the guy and made sure no one did a little bit of extras on him. So that was good for them. Yeah, so they're not happy. We did not beat a good team. Am I happy that we won? Yeah, I'm happy that we won. But that first half was fucking boring as fuck. Same old, same old. And we were lucky. Bartby Akowski, some of that saves that he made, I mean, ooh, we were really riding our luck at times. And even the goal that Mason Bennett got in the second half, he deserved it. He played very well today. It was ping ball in the area. We got a lucky deflection where it fell to him, and he got it in. And then in terms of Afobe scored, but he had an air shot which is probably one of the worst things you can have as a striker when everyone's looking at you. You're in on goal, sort of, and then you go to kick it and you miss it and you just kick air. And everyone's groaning and moaning like, oh fuck, here we go again, what the fuck. And he managed to keep his head. He's a pro, he's been there, done it. Luckily he didn't fall on his ass, but he came back and he got the goal. And he went through one-on-one with their baldy central defender, and he turned him inside out and got the goal. And it's fantastic to see. But they're not a good side at the moment. They really aren't. So let's have a look at what the manager is saying. So this is from news@den.co.uk. Mill boss gives his reaction after Lions end losing streak with win over WBA. Mill boss Gary Rowetts held the character of his side as they felt competed brilliantly in their 2-0 win against West Brom at the Den on Saturday. Mason Bennett and Benik Afobe scored in the second half as the Lions ended a 4-game losing run in all competitions. We've been disappointed the last 3 league games, Rowetts said. 2 of them we performed pretty well in for the majority of the game. The Blackpool one, we kind of let ourselves down. We knew that. We spoke about it before the game. We knew what kind of game it was going to be. Incredibly direct and competitive. With Andy Carroll starting as well, it's probably going to accentuate that. You've got to deal with it. They're very good at what they do. But we wanted to show a little bit of character, and games like that are an opportunity to show what we're all about. I think first half, was a real battle, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't a great spectacle for the spectator. No fucking shit. We knew the game would be like that. We had a couple of moments where we should perhaps show more quality. Scott has a good chance at the back post. Carroll has a chance that Bart saves. Then second half, in my opinion, we were by far the dominant team in terms of chances, territory, forward running quality. It was just whether we could score one of those chances. Benik had a couple of moments. Berkey had a great chance and the keeper makes a fabulous save. Mace has a couple of chances. It was a frustration at that point whether we would find that quality. Thankfully we did. We scored 2 really good goals and could have had more. And actually I can't remember, apart from a set piece, where we really looked like we were massively threatened. Big performance. And there were lots of big performances within the game themselves. It's more the confidence of my squad that's the priority. I've been around the block. I know if you don't win games it's never simple, but that didn't really come into my mind. It's more about the players and having a little bit of pride after the game, getting a performance we feel we deserved and worked hard for. The last 3 games have been difficult. You go and score the Benik chance against Forest and we go away feeling great. We can see the last minute goal and feel terrible, and then after Blackpool, it feels like the world's caved in. But it's about us, it's about us showing the character. I thought today we completed brilliantly, we defended superbly, our front three was an absolute handful at times. I thought Meekum Keftenbell came in for his second start in a while, was immense. There were a lot of things to be positive about today. Yeah, but again, I think I'll get into more in tomorrow's video, but West Brom had 5 shots and we had 8. So it's, yeah, that, what can you say? What can you say? Moving on now. So what did Gary Rowetts say? What did he say at half time? This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Well, according to him, he said nothing. So that turnaround, where it was completely dog shit in the first half, and then we actually played like we wanted to win the game in the second half. Apparently Gary Rowetts didn't inspire that. He didn't have an amazing speech at half time and inspire all the players. He didn't jump up on the benches and start orating and shouting and screaming. Apparently he didn't do anything. So what the fuck happened there then? Gary Rowetts was asked what he told his Millwall players at the half-time interval as they came out and scored twice to increase WBA's woes and clinch a first victory in 2022. Rowetts asked what message he gave during the interval as Millwall produced an improved display. He responded, "Nothing. Just do the same again and the game will open up. We said that before the game, that it's going to be a war of attrition for 60 minutes and it's going to be about who can seize the last 30 minutes. That seems to be your game plan for every game. Defend for 60 minutes and then attack for 30. The players today have done what they have done so often at home. They've stepped up their game in the second half. We've had so many second halves where we've been the dominant team and we haven't managed to score the goal to turn it into a winning performance. The players get huge credit today. They come with a little bit of fire in a week or over the weeks and they've shown a lot of character. That's what it's all about. But it's one game. We want to try and build on that and see if we can build on that against Preston. So literally, here you go. So he didn't say anything at half time, and we did what we do at every game, is we defend for 60 minutes and then try and attack in the last 30 minutes. So you did the same game plan and you carried it on even though the first half was really fucking bad and boring as hell. So did we win that game or did West Bromwich lose it? Phobie was given a standing ovation after he was replaced in the 89th minute by George Evans. The on loan Stoke City striker walked around the edge of the pitch and clapped the supporters back. Phobie is on 7 goals for the Lions and confidently whipped the ball past David Button. Great finish, said Rowetts. His touch was almost as good as he finished, a touch back inside. When he gets in those positions, you always feel he's got the composure to find the corner. He'll say he should have done that more this season. He has had lots of good chances. He should be in double figures, but all he can do is be ready to take the next opportunity, and he showed a little bit of quality to do it. Exactly what I was saying earlier. He had the air shot in the first half, and yeah, he came back. It didn't phase him. He just said, okay, I'll do better next time, and he did. Fantastic. There you go. Moving on now to this story about what Gary Rowetts saying about the guy making his first start. So this is from news@den.co.uk. Millwall chief assesses attacker's performance after first championship start since last August. Gary Rowetts feels Oliver Burke will be a terrific player for Millwall after the attacker made his full debut in a 2-0 win over West Brom. Burke, 24, played in a front three. It was his first start in his championship since last August. He's the type of player that when a game's tight like that and competitive, it's always difficult, Rowetts said. He won a few good headers and run down the side a couple of times. It's that final little bit. He's not played much football for a while. You don't just get confidence instantly. You've got to work hard to do it. Second half, you just see some of the runs he makes, some of the well-timed forays into the box, when he just couldn't quite get at the end of it, couldn't get the finish. But he'll be a terrific player for us. He's fit really well into the group, and all I can judge him on is what I've seen so far, which is what I've really liked him. So what does that mean? Not to be funny, like on Tuesday when we play Preston on the 1st of February and the window's closed, Jed Wallace is still here and he's fit. You would imagine that Jed Wallace would be starting in front of him, no? You would. So he's going to just go back on the bench. So here you go, and Gary Rowetts talking about Mason Bennett as well. Probably the man of the match. Mill managers challenge to Mason Bennett as he reveals close selection call with Tyler Burry. Gary Rowetts has challenged Mason Bennett to back up his performance after he helped Millwall beat West Brom 2-0. Bennett scored his first goal of the season in his 17th game to put the Lions in front before Benicofobia added the second. It was the first time Bennett had started successive games since November. Mason's been so unlucky this season. He's had COVID, he's been ill on the morning of a game, he's had a little niggle that's kept him out. Rowetts said it's just been such a fractured season. When you see him in training, he beats people all the time, he's got good quality. He can play off both feet, he's good in the air, he's strong, he's got a little bit of everything. He'll feel himself that he needs to add that little bit of consistency. What he's found here is a little bit of a home and an opportunity to do that. I nearly started Tyler Burry because he's been really, really good. But I felt Macy's physicality would help us. That was a thing that was noticeable online. When the team was announced, everyone was saying, where the fuck is Tyler Burry? Why are you not starting him? He came on at Blackpool and he did more in the time that he was on the pitch than anybody else did, probably for a long, long while. And people were not happy with that team selection, but it seemed to work out. I think he's given Kipri a torrid afternoon for 90 odd minutes, which he hasn't done often enough. The goal was a really nice way for him to finish and an opportunity to build on that performance. Along with the other two, Bennett at times got into good areas, worked really hard and had some good chances. I thought Berkey looked a threat, he could have gotten 2 or 3 good times. He's a really good player for us. The Lions played Preston on Tuesday and Rowetts was asked if Bennett could start again. Rowetts said that's the challenge. Even today when I thought about not starting him, he'd only come back in for one game against Blackpool. Sometimes you have to give people that opportunity and you have to risk them not performing. In a run of games, it's up to him to recover and back it up. Sometimes you can't do that for the players. They've got to step up. We've got to step up and go again, put another performance in. What they have done today is given us a little bit of pride and given the fans something to be proud about. The team in a little period when it hasn't done that well as we would have liked. So that's the thing. Will Bennett start on Tuesday? Because if he is struggling for consistency, and he has done, basically, not being mean on him, but he has done since he signed for us. What does that say? He's had a blinder today. So what are the odds on him? How do you think he's going to play on Tuesday? Well, not a blinder, because he can't do 2 blinders in a row. And if you, I don't know if Rowetts said to him, look, I might not be starting you, I might be starting Tyler Burry, so get out there and show me what you can do. He probably didn't say that to him, but now what if Gary Rowetts goes the other way and says, Tyler Burry, Tyler, did you see how Mason played? Can you do that? Well, let's see. I'll start you up against Preston and see what you can do. Can you do that? Can you do that or better? Because that would be a good man management, because it's a quick turnaround. It's a Tuesday game. It's not a Wednesday game. So really and truthfully only probably 1 day's rest, 2 days rest. We'll see how the players go. If he doesn't change anything, if he tries to play 2 games in a row, I know it's like, oh, but that was a physical game. And I'm just worried now that he's basically admitted that the game plan was the exact game plan that we use every game, is to defend for 60 minutes and then try and do a bit of attacking at the end. which is weird because he generally doesn't bring on any players until we're losing. So he expects the same players who've been playing for 60 minutes to start attacking it. If you're going to do that kind of style, why wouldn't you have a super sub? Pardon me. Why wouldn't you have like a super sub situation where you bring on a couple of attackers and go at them, bring the fresh legs on against the tired defenders? Why would you not do that? But he expects the players who've been started to just suddenly switch into attack mode and go and get it. But you know, so he's kept the same. This is what I'm worried about. He's kept the same game plan. He hasn't changed nothing. He didn't say nothing at half time to the players to inspire them. Just something clicked. We got a bit more lucky, or West Brom were a bit shitter than. Maybe they had an argument in the dressing room. Maybe they were kicking off like the fans were. I don't know. But and then if he thinks, oh yeah, I'm the dog's bollocks now because I beat West Brom, and he puts out this exact same team, the exact same game plan that I think only worked because West Brom are in a shit time at the moment against Preston, who are not. They're actually playing quite well. And then they're going to come in and they're going to slap us down again. So I think he needs to probably, like I said, probably say to Tyler Burry, can you do what he did? And get them kind of competing with each other. Or here's the thing, I think Afobe was maybe a little bit beat up at the end because he did go off. I think he might have had a little bit of a knock. So if he can't play, maybe you play Mason Bennett up front and then Tyler Burry on the left where Mason Bennett was today. Don't know, but we shall see. And it will be interesting because the window will have closed and Jed Wallace will either be here or he will not be here. So that will be interesting to actually finally figure that fucking thing out after all the stuff with Forrest and Besiktas and all of that. To actually get a definitive. Okay, he hasn't left. He's here until May the 8th, or whenever the last game of the season is. So there you go. It's an interesting couple of days for Millwall Football Club. I'll keep you informed as I always do. Thank you for watching and goodbye.